Kylian Mbappe named the new coach of the France team, Xavi Hernandez returns to big football, Barcelona buys Vinicius, and no, you didn't miss here, Liverpool decided to replace Salah with Rafinha. Today we're discussing this and other top 10 hottest football news stories up to this hour. Be sure to charge your royal likes, because our marathon continues. Until the end of March, we will try to work without days off. Well, I wish you a pleasant appetite and a pleasant viewing. Frankie de Jong remained at Barcelona despite intense pressure from club management and the Catalan media. The Dutchman started poorly under the leadership of Xavi, but managed to turn the situation around and is now showing his best side. Barcelona plans to extend his contract. Frankie is being offered a new agreement for 3 years with the salary maintained at the current level. That is, de Jong will continue to receive an incredible 19 million euros per year. The footballer himself also wants to stay. He is content with Flick's project, feels like a key player and enjoys living in Barcelona. However, Manchester and United will not let go of Frankie, and this summer the Red Devils will come again for the defender. Manchester United has notified Barcelona that they are prepared to pay $50 million for the player, as reported by 90 Minutes. De Jong is unstable, frequently injured, has a high salary, and a poor relationship with club management. Plus, he's expensive, and there's every reason to at least negotiate with Manchester United to find out if the Mancunians are able to fork out another tens of millions. Sinje Granatovi needs money for the summer since Barca currently lacks funds for transfers, which Blaugrana is planning. As Aiole Sporte writes, the Catalans are planning to buy Vinicius. Yes, you heard right, but we're not talking about Vini from Real Madrid, but about Flamengo's right-back Wesley Vinicius, whose transfer is estimated at 35 million euros. The defender has grown to the European level, so good in the bypass that opponents even have to adapt the scheme so that no one has to meet Vinicius without support. Wesley's defense is not bad if you look at the statistics, but how he will perform in La Liga is still a mystery. Barcelona is outbidding Liverpool for the Brazilian, and it seems he will join the Catalans. World class. Vinicius will have to play against his cousin from Real Madrid. Classic duel of the left winger and the right back. Poor commentators. Manchester United is planning a sale this summer. Sir Jim Ratcliffe lamented that many of the club's players are not performing at a level commensurate with their pay. Authoritative journalist Florian Plettenberg reported Manchester United's plan to invest in top player transfers while letting some footballers go to ease the budget. United does not want Jadon Sancho to return and hopes that Chelsea will buy him out. This year, Jadon is not showing anything at all, so I won't be surprised if the hopes of the Red Devils are not justified. Manchester United is planning to sell Anthony and Marcus Rashford. The Brazilian has opened up at Betis and dreams of staying there. It's far from certain that the Cucumbers will find the money to buy the rather expensive winger. There's no doubt about Aston Villa. If Rashford maintains his current level until the end of the season, the Birmingham people will definitely buy him out. Manchester United is also interested in Kazimir Stora, Lindelof, Christian Eriksen and Kobe Mainoo. K's recently had a fantastic match against Arsenal, but overall, it's clear that the defender has given up and it's worth sending him to Saudi Arabia. Lendeleev is only good for backing up the main centre-backs. He doesn't compare to Elict, Lisandro or Hierro, and even to the amateur centre-back Mazrouai. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Eriksen will leave the club as a free agent. It's not that he plays poorly, but Dachanin is not getting any younger, and his salary is biting. What surprises is the impending sale of Mainoo Plettenberg. Not that he will lie, but not long ago they saw the future of the club in Mainoo. The potential is noticeable to the unarmed eye. Either Kobe himself wanted to leave, or the agents asked for too big a salary for a new contract. And now Manchester United is selling, it would seem, their best halfback. After Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo, the shock has diminished. Not far off is the official announcement of the verdict on the case of 150 financial violations of Manchester City. All details are expected to be revealed later this month. As reported by a well-known Manchester City fanatic, citing reliable sources within the club, the court has made a decision in favor of the citizens, and a detailed analysis of each case is expected in the near future. Yes, of course, the source is not the most authoritative, albeit respected among the City fans. However, observe the behavior. Channel experts such as Jamie Carragher, Roy Keane, and Gary Neville previously insisted and said that City's punishment is inevitable. And now, as reported, all channel workers were sent letters with a call not to make hasty judgments about the verdict on the case of 115 violations of Monserrat, as their words can be complained about in court. The letter contains a recommendation to direct viewers to the channel for additional information. In addition, experts politely hinted that it would be wise to be accurate when publishing posts about the Manchester City case on social networks. Otherwise, you could almost end up without a job. After all, dubious statements threatened the channel with a lawsuit from Grande, that is, with miraculous financial losses. Even Ventus, in essence, managed to get out after all his machinations. And it's no surprise that City, with even more resources, was able to outlast justice. There is no doubt that City is guilty, as the network is full of evidence. But the best lawyers in the world are stronger than the most irrefutable evidence. According to journalist David Ornstein, there has not been a single case in recent years during contract negotiations at the club where conditions were set that would suggest Man City would be punished. This will happen. No one in City ever doubted the club's victory in court. Liverpool has a great opportunity to get rid of Nunez. This could be a profitable deal for all three parties. The transfer of the Uruguayan to Anfield was almost as if Fernando Torroso's new move. On paper, it looked like the truth, yes, and the price imposed certain obligations on the player. Still, not every window. Liverpool spends 85 million on the forward. However, instead of becoming the new Fernando Torres, Nuno became the new Loris Karius, only already in the attack. Let's see how Darwin has shown himself in almost 3 years spent in Liverpool. In his final season with Benfica, the Uruguayan scored 26 goals in 28 Portuguese league matches. These are excellent figures, despite the relative weakness of the championship, but in Liverpool, things were much worse. In his 3 years at Anfield, Nunez couldn't replicate his previous season's performance, despite his efforts. In total, the Uruguayan scored 25 goals in the English Premier League. Over 3 years, management recognizes that the adaptation period has ended and Nunez's performance continues to decline. We will gladly consider a summer offer for the Uruguayan player. According to media reports, several major teams, including Arsenal, Newcastle United, and Barcelona, are interested in acquiring Darwin's services, at least to some extent. And they definitely offered services to Nunez, but now we're talking about another Spanish team, also among the grants. According to the portal in Mesport, Atletico Madrid is considering replacing Griezmann's departure with the purchase of Nunez, and even agrees to offer good money for his transfer. Specifically, something in the region of 40 million euros. Liverpool agrees with such a sum. The club's management aim to recover at least 50% of the Uruguayan's transfer fee from Benfica. Is Atletico prepared to spend this much? What does Madrid gain from this transfer? It's clear that replacing Griezmann in full is not going to work out. There's no need to even talk about the different status of the footballers, their profiles simply differ. But he already had successful experience in Spanish football in his career. Many years ago, Uruguay played for Almeria and showed himself beautifully there. One can make a reasoned conclusion that Darwin feels much better in this Spanish football. Therefore, his career in Atletico may be brighter than in Liverpool. And this means that the Madrid team potentially gets a top forward for relatively small money. But in general, I just want my eyes to no longer see Nunez at Anfield. Let him go to Eritrea. The main thing is that he is further away from Merseyside. Mbappe finally told the truth about the conflict with the head coach of the French national team, and also shared his thoughts on the new team leader. Last fall, the attacker skipped the national team's location, citing an injury. In a conversation with the coach, he mentioned injuries, but it didn't stop him from playing in a Spanish La Liga match. The deception prompted Deschamps to stop calling up Mbappe to the national team's location. In November, Kylian was absent from the Nations League matches, sparking rumors that the forward would no longer play. Despite this, the coaches. This in turn meant that Mbappe would not go to the World Cup either. Time passed and the parties made peace. Kylian will play for the national team soon. And after the new call, the one who finally commented on the situation with this conflict, we did not quarrel. If we had quarreled, I would not have answered his calls. I have always respected and valued the coach. He was my only coach for the French national team, and he gave me my first chance to play for it. Our relationship cannot be spoiled because of a couple of disagreements. There are disagreements with colleagues at any job, but that doesn't mean you don't like them or you don't respect them, Mbappe stated. But what can be said? Kylian behaved badly in relation to the French national team. What kind of captain is he? This is not about disagreement. Mbappe deceived the coach, hiding behind a fake injury, which did not prevent him from playing for Real Madrid. Footballers frequently feign injuries to avoid joining their national teams. For example, Inigo Martinez suspiciously got an injury that will keep him out of reach for 2 weeks. Just as long as the international break will last. But the point is not what Mbappe did, the point is how he did it. Since the conflict is resolved, there's no point in discussing it further. We'll return to this topic when Kylian messes up again. Also in this interview, Mbappe commented on the future changes in the coaching chair of the French national team. The forward confirmed rumors that the management is seriously considering Zidane. I know everyone is talking about Zidane. We're not pretending to live in a cave and don't know what's going on, but it's not for me to talk about it. The federation has a president, Philippe Diallo, and he will be the one to make the decision, Mbappe emphasized. In general, he managed to have a quite substantial interview, in which he shared his opinion on all the controversial issues of the national team. There's not much to add here. Real Madrid is negotiating with Vinicius to extend his contract and hopes that they can reach an agreement with the Brazilian. Moreover, Vinicius himself stated that he wants to stay at the club. However, as Fichajes reports, Real Madrid believes that the footballer's words do not match his actions. Vinicius requested an astounding salary from the club, surpassing that of Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. But Florentino Perez does not want to put one player above the rest and will not disrupt the balance of the squad for the whims of the Brazilian. So, if Vini doesn't curb his appetite, the club will still send him to Saudi Arabia for a record 300 million euros. There, Vinicius will certainly get a salary that will cover all his needs. The Sheikhs see Vini as one of the main faces to attract the audience to the World Championship in 2034. The World Cup is still distant, but Vini's path in Europe is blocked by Kylian Mbappe, forcing an earlier departure. It seems that the Frenchman will be the main star of the attacking Oilers in the coming years. As Florentino Perez anticipated, Vini is unlikely to be content with a secondary role. And here the Sheikhs are offering a contract for 1 billion. It's hard to resist such an offer. In addition to Vinicius, the Saudis are persuading another well-known winger to transfer. According to the publication, they are willing to pay Ousmane Dembele 100 million euros per season if he agrees to transfer to one of the Saudi Arabian clubs. Dembele is currently in his career best form, and I wouldn't leave if I were him. But Ousmane left Barcelona, where Xavi believed in him under Rukaus, whom Wenger supported. Unless it's slightly worse than Enrique's and he quit right after he hit peak form. Maybe he has such a fetish. Dembele is a slacker himself. Enrique even sidelined him from the games this season due to lack of discipline. And the transfer to the East seems like a great option for 100 million for the season. And you can do this with almost no effort. Chelsea is preparing to make a sensational transfer of Modric to one of the German giants. Wenger's move to the London club caused a stir in Europe during his time. The entire football world was watching the intense battle between English powerhouses Arsenal and Chelsea. On top of that, the matter reached some insane amounts. As known, this duel was won by the blue side, which had to pay 70 million for the Ukrainian. Data suggests that with bonuses, the transfer cost might surpass Larus $100 million, reaching a 9-digit figure. However, the transfer was not justified. Apart from his impressive debut match against Liverpool, Modric did not make a significant impact. His statistical performance can't even be called average, and there's no need to talk about his transfer cost matching his performance. You can see for yourself. In 2 years at Chelsea, Modric has only 10 goals and 5 assists. Compare this with Ferran Torres' performance last season at Barcelona, and until recently, the Spaniard's transfer was considered a failure. Moreover, the Catalan winger has not been involved in doping scandals, unlike his Ukrainian colleague. According to official data, the investigation is still ongoing. But if no results of the second test were found in 2 months, and Modric still does not participate in matches, then you can understand what the results will be. Spanish media reports Bayer Leverkusen is interested in signing the Ukrainian player. The desire comes directly from the team's head coach, Xabi Alonso. The Spanish coach is somehow convinced that Modric can become a key figure in his project. Negotiations can already start in the near future. And what about the disqualification? Why would Leverkusen need a player who can't even be included in the application? The source says nothing about this. But one can assume if Modric is indeed available for transfer in the summer, then his disqualification period won't be as expected earlier. No 4 years, as initially predicted. Possibly Modric only served a half-year suspension. And that means he will be available at the start of the next season. Liverpool may substitute one Ballon d'Or candidate for another as the search for Mohamed Salah's replacement continues. The parties have yet to sign a new agreement. Time passes without increasing contract clarity. He has said several times that this is his last season in Liverpool while leaving a loophole for continuing cooperation. But until the end of the draw, and accordingly the contract itself, there is not much time left. And it is logical to assume that there is a great likelihood of the end of Salah's era at Anfield. Rumors suggest Liverpool has been searching for a replacement for the Egyptian player recently. Various options are being considered, but not many are top tier. From the latter, we can highlight interest in Kousman, Dembele and Kenan Eldis. Transferring the first one will be very challenging because of its high cost. But it is said that Liverpool is ready to make large expenditures to attract the Frenchman. The Turk will also be expensive, but his price does not bite as much as the cost of the Frenchman. However, Liverpool's shortlist is not limited to just 2 names. Don't be surprised if over the next few months we consider more than a dozen players vying for Salah's place. But more interestingly, who is Liverpool rumored to be interested in signing now? And it's none other than the main contender for the Golden Ball, Barcelona's winger Rafinha Diaz. Liverpool became the second club from England to claim this forward. Remember, the first was Manchester United. But the Red Devils offered some rather stale conditions. But what the Merseyside club is willing to do for Rafinha's transfer is still unknown. They report only initial talks with Barcelona and the players' representatives, which is insufficient to gauge the transfer's probability. The Catalans are still facing financial problems, with a critical shortage of free money in the club's budget. To improve the situation, Joan Laporta could sell Rafinha for an astronomical sum, close to a record one. But with such an unpredictable president and a Manchester scenario, it's impossible to rule out, namely, the sale of the Brazilian for a measly 65 million euros. Maybe Liverpool will get lucky, and they will get such a perfect forward for a modest compensation. Who knows? Tottenham, Manchester United, Juventus and Milan will have to wait. Xavi has announced the dates of his return to coaching. The Spaniard began his career in Qatar, where he took over Al Sadd immediately after ending his playing career. In just over 2 years, he won 7 trophies with the club, after which he got his first chance to lead Barcelona, which was struggling at the time. Xavi, he managed to stabilize the team, bring back the Spanish champion title. But then everything started to fall apart. Management problems, financial constraints, failures in the Champions League and unstable results in the 2024 season made his position unstable. In January 2024, he announced his departure from the club at season's end, citing moral fatigue as the reason. Then there was a heated story with Joan Laporta, but Xavi eventually left the club. As expected, the Spaniard took a year off, but is ready to return to coaching in the summer. Xavi officially announced that he'll take a break until June, after which he'll consider offers. He also participates beyond club football. In an interview, he expressed interest in working with a national team to compete in the World Cup or Europe. Or why not try again in the Champions League, for a chance to fight for victory, Xavi added. And where can he go? The clubs interested in his services are enough, like Manchester United, which may part ways with Ruben Amorim this summer, even though Sir Jim Ratcliffe himself expressed support for him. Juventus, where Xavi could replace Thiago Motta Milan, which has been fluctuating between different options since Pioli's dismissal, but the option with the national team is not excluded. For example, Brazil is still undecided on the long-term perspective. Could it happen that Xavi himself will lead the Penta-champions to the World Championship? There's not much left until June, which means we'll soon find out what place Xavi will take in the football world. After his comeback, Virgil van Dijk spoiled the cozy chat with Nasser Al-Khelaifi and Luis Campos after Paris Saint-Germain knocked Liverpool out of the Champions League. Van Dijk apologized to Campos for his harsh words and praised the Parisians' play. The transfer was not the focus. However, the Dutchman could actually be in Paris in a year. As journalist Sam Maguire reported, Paris Saint-Germain has made Van Dijk their key transfer target for the summer and has prepared a colossal offer. A 2-year contract with a salary of 50 million euros per year. Liverpool will not repeat such an offer. You don't even need any insider information for this, it's obvious. If it's just about the money, then the Scousers have already lost and will say goodbye to Cap. It's another thing that Van Dijk was previously tempted with fantastic offers, but he still preferred to stay loyal to Liverpool. Let's see if he will be tempted this time. Perhaps Virgil is tired of European football and wants to earn big money without high responsibility and pressure. Surprisingly, the French publication writes that Van Dijk is not close to the local grand, but to an unnamed club from Major League Soccer. It's quite possible that they are talking about Inter Miami. Moreover, according to sources in Saudi Arabia, they are ready to pay more for the centre-back, but the Dutchman still prefers the North American Championship. I can understand Van Dijk's desire to go to Messi. The Dutchman is Liverpool's leader, in minutes played for the second season in a row. Amazing health allows him to play without injuries, but mental fatigue still accumulates. And Virgil, who has been playing without a break for a year. However, the footballer has not made a final decision yet, and may still stay in Liverpool for one season. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching and subscribing to the Friends channel. Our marathon continues. We work the rest of March without days off. Charge your royal likes to support us. Well, my name is Kirill Kast, and this was your daily dose of football. Peace to your home and your hunger, friends.